Y'all, welcome back. I'm so glad to be back. This new year, 2024, started off with a bang. We spent January in gyms for basketball tournaments, wrestling duels, wrestling tournaments, basketball games, you name it. We've been doing it, staying busy, and we've also spent a lot of time in bed because we've had the flu roll through our house. So we were so glad that we could get back out and get back on the interview trail. So we kind of basically took the month of January off, but we're back. And we're rolling. What a great way to get back to it. One of the most interesting men in Southern Oklahoma, and that's coaching and all that included, and Coach Randy Growall there at Plainview High School in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Coach Growall's got such an awesome story. Kentucky boy and married a Okie girl that is a close to sainthood, as we talk about. Got some amazing kiddos, one of which is a editor and does a lot of movie stuff, so I apologize for the amateur nature of this editing skills, but hey, I would love your help, so reach out, Nick. All right, Coach Growall just shares this story, and it's awesome. Has served this country in the military and served as a coach, and a lot of other jobs too to go with it. It's just an awesome story, and he's such a cool guy. Got some great pictures of some cool things I'm going to weave in there. There's a little audio stuff at the first, so just be prepared for that, and then it'll pick up and take off. Hey, I'd like to give a shout-out to a couple of my sponsors. MW Outdoor Power and Engine Works. It's at 212 West Broadway, right across from the park. Their phone number there, 580-622-4799. Hey, do yourself a favor and start mowing on a bad boy mower this year. This summer, this spring, take off on a brand new bad boy. You will not regret it. I don't know why I put it off so long. I finally got one, and oh my goodness, it's gravy. You got to get one. I mow like this huge thing. My awesome neighbor, Mr. Butts, lets us mow a long way so my daughter can hit golf balls out there, and also mostly me, but we can hit golf balls out in his pasture. He lets me mow. I take off on my bad boy. It's awesome. They've also got 9 kinds of any kind of tool you can think of to mow and weed eat and saw and leaf blowers. I mean, you name it. Power washers, they got them all. So go by and check them out. Also, Traeger grills, all the accessories, pellets, tools, sauces, you name it. They got it all. So go by and check them out at MW Outdoor Power and Engine Works. Also, right behind them, right behind them on 217 West Muskogee, Bromine Mountain. You've got to go check them out. Hey, they're right now they're having a sale. You got to go check out the sale. They've got all kinds of stuff. Guys, if you're in the market for some Valentine's stuff, you better hurry over there because they've got a ton of stuff. Just ask the girls, hey, my wife wears an extra small and she likes the color pink, and they will find what they got in there for you. So go in there and check them out. They'll hook you up. Tell Chet and Jade and Blakeland and Banks I sent you, and we appreciate them and what they do for our podcast to let us get some equipment, and all our sponsors are awesome. So thank you guys all so much. And so that being said, let's go. So we're going.
All right.
So Coach Growall, thank you so much for being on my podcast, Called to Coaching. I call that Called to Coaching because I definitely think it's a calling to be a coach.
Yes.
And so this podcast is just about the coach. And so, so thank you for being on.
Like I said, I asked you, you're going to have to edit quite a bit of this just to get some good content, I'm sure.
Hey, listen, I've had some characters on here and no edits yet. So the only thing I've edited out was myself from like my long. If I do an intro and an outro, and I've had to re-edit those because I'll just draw a blank. I'll be talking about you and just pause. Like,
what's your name?
Yeah, exactly. So Coach Growall, you coach here at Plainview High School in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
Right.
And coach football.
Football and junior high baseball. I teach them how to spit and scratch. So it's an early development.
We got to get them when they're impressionable.
Right. I started here in '99 when Coach Eddie Paul, he knew I was involved in refereeing and officiating, and he asked me to come help with the junior high.
Yeah.
And then I've been here ever since. So
the rest is history.
Right.
Thanks to Eddie Paul.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
He still comes down every once in a while and speaks to our boys.
Yeah.
I think he's been down 3 or 4 times. So He likes to stay hooked up.
So I know that you've been doing this a long time in one place because I graduated in '99, and that was a long time ago.
And I think I officiated a game at Davis or two.
Yeah.
We were talking about Joe Weber, and he probably didn't want it, but he would get nervous and would smoke a cigarette behind the field house. And when I told those guys that from Davis at the refinery, it just blew them away.
They were like, "No way."
Joe Weber's. Sorry, Coach Weber.
Hold on, I gotta check this.
Right.
It's auto power off for some reason. That's about right. It's the one that told me it had 118 hours of battery. Well, there's a memory card in there. All right, here we go. Keep going. So nobody at the refinery believed that, did they?
No, they ordered it right.
Oh, it's good. It's just flipped over. So that way we can see where it's recording. I don't know why it was auto powering off, but ain't no telling.
But yeah, sorry, Coach Weber. I loved when I was officiating Davis games to slip into the locker room and listen to his pre-game speeches, halftime speeches, because he could get you fired up. But
Yeah.
I can understand why those kids wanted to run through a wall for him.
Oh yeah.
Talk about your granddaddy's in the stands, your parents are in the stands.
Yeah.
You represent Davis football, and
Yeah.
those kids were.
It was
were
all
on
about
fire.
the name on the front, not the name on the back.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
We really, I mean, there was games that we shouldn't have been. I mean, we shouldn't even have showed up, you know. And
Somebody was driving on y'all towards that south end zone, and you had a safety. I don't know what his name was, and it looked bad. It looked like y'all were going to lose the game, and this kid's just going around there. You gotta believe, and you all stopped him on the 6-inch line that won the game. And I don't know who that kid was, but obviously Coach Weber
Yeah.
had a lot of influence on that young man. So.
Yeah, that was one thing about playing with Coach Weber. You believed. I tell kids now that, you know, we used to show up and get off the bus, and it didn't matter if the Packers were on the other side. We just thought we had a chance. We thought we had more than a chance most of the time. We expected to win most of the time. But even against those really good Frederick teams that were just beating the brakes off everybody, we thought we had a chance. Like, yeah, our line averages, you know, under 200 pounds, but, well, we feel like we got a chance. You know, we usually did. Now, sometimes we didn't.
Yes.
But it took us to the very end to figure it out.
Womack, he always had a chance.
Oh, yeah, if you had Zach on your team, you always had a chance. They've had some kids like that through the years. The Goober Hollands and the Zachs and the Summers and all them kids. I mean, some of those guys, when they got the ball in their hand, it was... Oh.
Makes a good coach. Makes you look like a good coach.
It's like Pat Jones always said, it's that Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's a lot of times.
Yeah.
So let's start off with I'm going to insert that picture you sent me right here of little Coach Growall. I could see you in that picture.
Yeah. That was on the first house I remember in Ashland, Kentucky. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And, grew up there and played for the Ashland Tomcats. And nobody here knows who I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
back home, you know, Herb Conley was a legend. He won several state championships. And at Ashland, you know, football was huge at Ashland. I think they've got 12 state championships now.
Come on.
My position coach was Vic Marsh, and God, he was a fiery guy. He later went on to coach and become the all-time winningest coach at Ashland. And man, he was, you know, he was all.
Yeah.
One time at Greenup County, we're in a game, and I was hurt. I'm in street clothes, and a sophomore comes in. I'm watching the game. A sophomore comes and tugs on me. He said, "Hey, these guys are throwing mud at us." What? So I go back there, and there's some older kids that graduated from Greenup County. They're throwing mud at these kids. So I'm a senior. So hey, y'all knock it. We get in a fight. There's 3 of these dudes and me, and the next thing I know, Vic Marsh evidently saw it and jumps out of the press box, runs through the crowd, and is just stroking. Coach Marsh, I hope. I mean, he didn't get in trouble. He probably got called in. You know, as a kid,
Yeah.
you don't know what happened.
You never know anything behind the scenes.
He beat the crap out of that guy until the other coaches and auxiliary cops got over it. But Vic Marsh was a fire. You wanted to play for him.
Yeah, he might be the reason you like to go in there and listen to Coach Weber's speeches. Takes you back to Kentucky.
We had some great coaches. I mean, Herb Conley, they built a statue of him, and he's in a assisted living right now, and his son will show he's in there lifting with dumbbells in assisted living.
He's still going.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah. He's
So grew up in Kentucky. Did you have a bunch of brothers and sisters?
I had an older brother, Joe, and he was went in the Air Force, joined the PJs and Special Forces, and
Yeah.
PJs doesn't mean pajamas. And you know, when you talk to people, the operators in the different elite forces, and
Yeah.
because nobody knows what PJs are, but
Yeah.
if you tell them, yeah, my brother was in the Air Force in the PJs, they're like, whoa,
Oh,
really?
that's
I mean,
awesome.
Joe, he was a different kind of cat, or is, you know.
Yeah.
And then my sister Bonnie, so, you know.
Does everybody still live in Kentucky?
Well, no, my sister lives here and Joe lives in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mom and Dad passed away within the last couple of years,
Yeah.
so you know,
Yeah.
don't go back home very often anymore. Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
They've either moved or moved on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What like where you at in Kentucky? Small town? Like was it
It's
rural?
Ashland. There's a bunch of small towns. We didn't have to travel very far to find a football game.
Yeah.
You know, 6 miles to the sorry Russell Red Devils, or 3 miles to the stinking Boyd County Lions. And I can tell you a funny story. I was in Iraq, and I'm driving a Humvee on base, and there's this kid carrying a case of water, and it's hot. I pull over, he just walk. I said, "Hey man, you need a ride? It's private." And he jumps in, and "Hey, where are you from?" He said, "From Russell, Kentucky, sir." I stopped at the Humvee. I said, "Get out." I said, "Ain't no Russell Red Devil gonna ride in my Humvee." His kids look, because we're a long ways from home.
Yeah.
His kids looking at me. I started laughing. I said, "Come here, I'm kidding." I said, "I'm an Ashland Tomcat." And he's like, "Holy cow." I gave him a ride back to where he was going.
A long way from home to find home, huh?
Small world.
Yeah. So when growing up, did you just plan on going to the military because your big brother went? Or how'd that...
No. I went to Oral Roberts University.
Yeah.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, for 3 years until they asked me to leave. and then you know I was working and joined the military, joined the reserves.
Yeah.
And in 1986.
How did you end up at Oral Roberts?
My parents wanted me to go there. So
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know anything about college. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad. I think my dad went to college for like a week
Yeah.
at Penn State because he's from Pennsylvania, and he said that's when he got back from the Korean War. He had the GI Bill, and he went and he said that the people there are, I can't remember the word he used, but uppity.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's it.
So I didn't know anything about college, how it worked or anything, and
Yeah.
I don't remember what they told me.
You just showed up where they told you to go.
Well, that big German told you to do something, you did it. So.
Yeah. And so Oral Roberts from Asheville, Kentucky, you show up at Oral Roberts in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you're like, wow, that's a little different. But you made it 3 years.
I did.
That's impressive.
It was amazing. I made it 3 years. I was on double secret probation.
And so when that ended, that's when you...
Well, my wife was from here in Ardmore.
Yeah.
We met at Oral Roberts. And
Okay.
So we got married and moved. I worked for Caterpillar for a while. I worked for Heister forklift for a while. And I think I was working down here for Keith Electric when I joined the Army in 1986.
Okay. Well, let's not get too far ahead. So you're at Oral Roberts. Is your wife at Oral Roberts as well?
Yes. Yes.
So,
and they told all her friends, they're like, "Oh, don't date him. You know, he's crazy." And I wasn't. She said, "He's the most normal guy that I ever went out with, most polite, and opened the doors and didn't try and maul her. Or,
Yeah.
She said I was the most normal guy. So.
That says something about us Oklahoma guys, I think. Especially Southern Oklahoma guys.
They might have been from somewhere else. The other guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it's a good thing I found her, because
Yeah.
she she's probably
Yeah.
the biggest influence in my life. Kept me on the straight and narrow path.
I've learned something about coaches' wives, that they are all very close to sainthood.
That's right.
Especially coaches that have been doing this a while. The young wives are just kind of like, whoa. And then the wives that are married to guys that's been 20, 30 years in the business, they're going, hey, he leaves when the weather gets like this, he comes back when the weather gets like this, basically.
Yeah.
And they have seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all got married?
And we've had 5 kids, and they've all gone to, they've all gone to school.
Yeah.
Here at Plainview.
Yeah. All Plainview Indians?
Well, Chris lives in Virginia.
Yeah.
But the rest of them all gone to school here at Plainview. All graduated from Plainview.
That's awesome.
But they're all over the world now. Lauren, she lives in Guernsey, England.
Holy smokes.
But
how's that?
her husband's from Guernsey.
Okay.
And
But I mean, how's that for Dad, for her to be?
We're planning on
Just
going,
like-
and we haven't made it yet. But with the internet now, I mean,
Yeah.
Zoom calls or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We talk to her.
FaceTime and all that. You
Yeah.
see her a lot.
She lost her dog Winston. They don't have any kids, but she lost her dog Winston about 6 months ago, and
Golly.
and she found another little Sophie, I think.
Yeah.
That's their West Highland Terrier.
Yeah.
So
Hey, dogs, I don't care what people say, dogs are part of the family.
right.
I mean, I still remember, I think, every one I've had, and we had some mutts, but I still remember them all.
And we've had grand dogs. And when the kids leave,
Yeah.
they want a dog, and when they leave, the dog stays. So at one time, we had 4 grand dogs, and Fran's got 2 big hearts. She's not.
She's not getting rid of them dogs,
No,
huh?
they die, and I have to go bury them.
Yeah, I'm too soft for that, Coach. It breaks my heart. So y'all got married. When did y'all start having kids? Like, y'all were married, and then
I think
when did
about
the kiddos start
a
coming
year
along?
later, we
Yeah.
waited.
Yeah. So then were y'all down here at that time?
Yes.
And then-
Well, holy cow, I've had too many. Cassidy was born either in Tulsa or Ardmore.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Edit this part.
Hey, that's why I had both mine in the same
Don't get me
town.
in trouble.
Just like
I have a hard enough time with the birthdays.
yes.
Cassidy's gonna be 30. No, she's 39. Well, yesterday.
Yeah.
She's 39 yesterday. So.
Well, I'll edit out that you just gave her age out over anyway. It'll just say Cassie's gonna be yesterday. I can remember the days, but the years always throw me off on my kids until they started playing sports, and then I was like, oh, well, she's an 07 because we play with the 07s, and I was like, okay, now
That's
I can remember.
I remember the football season, and I figured they graduated a year after
Yeah.
that. So.
Yeah. So you went into the military, and you said 86?
1986, June 25th, 1986, Fort Dix, New Jersey. Went to basic training.
Yeah.
Then I went to my AIT, came back, and they went to a unit, changed and went to a drill sergeant unit after that 95th Division. So I was a drill sergeant for 10 years.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was a lot of fun training troops.
Yeah.
It's not too much unlike training soldiers. I mean, training football players.
Yeah.
So
I knew that immediately when Drew brought me in, and he introduced me to everybody in the Plainview locker room and coach's office, and we left, and I was like, was the bald coach a drill sergeant? He goes, yeah, and it's Coach Growall. Yeah, I go, man, I was like, don't sit up straight, don't mess around. I took my hat off. I was like,
Yeah, I got my drill sergeant hat somewhere right there. That night's all covered up with memorabilia.
oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So then you went to drill, so you're a drill sergeant for 10 years.
Yes, and then I went and became a warrant officer. So
What about the drill sergeant in your training, like when you became a drill sergeant and then you had your 10 years experience of drill sergeant? What about that and the cadence of that is so, because I see when you communicate with kids, they listen, they pay attention. Even the knuckleheads like me gravitate towards that drill sergeant mentality a lot of times just because I don't know what it is, but it's like when Coach Growall speaks, we listen. What about that drill sergeant has carried over into coaching, and why do you think that's an influence?
I think I don't know, we pay a lot of attention to detail. So,
Yeah.
even my coaches, they're telling me, hey, that's really good. We can do this because you paid a lot of attention to detail. But I don't know if, why they're drawn to that, but I was the same way.
Yeah.
I remember my drill sergeants, Drill Sergeant Royce. I don't know why, but, for some reason you're kind of drawn to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I just noticed that because I tell everybody that will listen. Sometimes they ask me what's the funniest or the favorite part, and I always say Coach Growall at 7:30 in the morning hollering at the junior high kids is one of my favorite, because for those who don't know, where the coach's locker room is, you can't see, or where the coach's office is, you can't see any of the locker rooms. You're just only in the locker room with the coaches. You can't see anything, but they can hear everything. So when the kids are messing up or whatever, you can hear them horsing around or whatever. And so it's like, it's a good way, it's a good setup because not many things go unnoticed. But when they get a little rowdy, the junior high boys, Coach Growall stands up, he walks leaning forward, he goes in there and he starts hollering, and it's the joy of my football week. I'm like, sometimes I wake up on Friday mornings and I go, I hope one of them kids messes up today. And then I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. I don't think any of the junior high kids will watch this, but when Coach Growall comes back in the locker room, or in the coach's office, he's just got a little smile on, like, and it is my favorite part of football season. It's one of my favorite parts. Because the way they snap, like, somebody stole your helmet? And I'm like, whoa. It's just awesome.
They need discipline and correction, and they need to learn how, we do things. And
yeah.
They, a lot of them don't have daddies. A lot of them don't, raised by grandma. She's doing her best, or single parent moms are doing the best they can.
Yeah.
And they show up, probably not like when I was a kid and showed up in the locker room. I knew how to act, how to behave. A lot of them don't. So.
Yeah. They. I noticed that they definitely. The ones that start with you in junior high, and when they leave us at the football banquet, like they know that through those years, no matter how hard you've been on them, that you love them, and that you're doing it for their betterment.
Right.
And you can see the ones that make it through the program from start to finish, and when they go on the other way, you can see that they know you love them. Right. And so that's a really...
And discipline, it's not what you do to somebody, it's what you do for somebody.
Yeah.
And I was reading an article the other day about how, when you take it easy on these kids, you're not helping them, you're crippling them.
Yeah.
And we tend to all, trying to alleviate stress management. Stress avoidance is what you're doing now. If parents do the daggum homework for them, or you take it easy on them, that's not making them any better. You're crippling them. Yeah. You don't do that in the weight room. Yeah. Kids in there working out, the trainer doesn't go in there and say, hey, take it easy. You're sweating too much, or you got too much weight on there.
Yeah.
That's not how you grow.
No.
And I'm not saying, beat a kid into submission, but you need to overload him a little bit so he learns how to step up to the challenge.
Yeah.
So that way,
Absolutely.
when he's on his own in life, because I think in our mission statement here at Plainview School, it talks about we're not preparing the path for you. All right, we're preparing you for the path.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on their own someday.
Absolutely.
You ain't helping them out by doing their dang homework, parents.
Yeah. Or because, I mean, I've even heard of parents going to job interviews nowadays. It's like, stay home, mom. Yeah, they're going to get that job. You sit in the car if you need to, but let them walk in there and get that interview of their own. It's something. But
I was a commander at the 910th Quartermaster of the Army Reserve Unit here in town, and had a soldier had an issue. And I was happened to be in there during the week, and this knock on the door lady comes up. She says, "I'm Billy so-and-so's mama. Well, I want to talk to you about." Whoa. This is not Little League, man. You send your 23-year-old son up here, and I'll talk to him. I'm not talking to no mamas.
Yeah.
And she didn't get too mad, but she left. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't believe that. I've had employees, not at FCA, and other lines of work that moms will call in sick for him. I'm like, he's that sick that his mama's calling in? I'm like, well, I'll just write him off because I know that in Davis, we told our moms, like, all of this is off limits. Like, don't come up here. If I'm laying on the field and they're cutting off my shirt and pants, like, catch me at the end of the football field when they're putting me in the ambulance. Do not come out there. And I've talked to my mom about it, and she was just, I only got hurt once, and it was just cramps, but, it looked like I'd been sniped, just, and she was like, that was the hardest thing, just sitting up there.
If
but
you see him doing chest compressions, you can come out.
Yeah, come out there and pray over me.
10 feet away.
Yeah. Okay, so we started at 86, come back, went through drill sergeant for 10 years. I know that you went overseas a few times. Like, can you tell us about that?
And went over in 16. Went over to Iraq.
Yeah.
So, first time I was in a maintenance company. Once we got over there, and that's the way the Army works, they had a mission come up, so they draw from different companies. I got put on a 9-man MIT team, and we were driving 3 Humvees around Diyala, Providence, assessing the capabilities of the Iraqi Army, which, number one, that's not a great feeling.
Yeah.
3 Humvees.
Yeah.
And then the capabilities of the Iraqi Army.
Oh.
I don't think any Iraqis are going to watch, but at the time, they weren't very much.
Yeah.
All right. And then the next time I went over in 16, we're outside the wire. We're red status, and we were working in an advise and assist mission with different Iraqi maintenance departments. Actually working with the generals was pretty nice because they'd feed us and they'd bring us in and give us chai, and they fed us pretty well.
Yeah.
Because down there, their soldiers were treated like crap. They didn't understand.
Yeah.
Their soldiers were treated terrible. Their barracks smelled. Their mattresses had been slept on by 1,500 soldiers, never cleaned, and they were eating beans and rice, and their generals were eating really good. Lamb and chicken and rice.
Yeah.
And so anyway, got to advise and assist mission the second time. So
yeah,
it was pretty. Both of them were really interesting. Met a lot of neat people.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So 6 were both of those during wars?
Yes.
Yeah. So 6 was Iraqi freedom, or what was 6?
OEF and OIF. So enduring freedom. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's how was it back home? Like, how was Fran and the kiddos?
that's the hardest
Is
part.
that-
A soldier's busy every day
Yeah.
doing something. Your mind's not. No. A wife and kids back home all day long, they're wondering.
Yeah.
Every phone call, they're wondering. So and thank God, Nick was home, and he he was going to go to college, and when I got deployed, he said, "Well, I'll just go to community college." He stayed there and took care of Fran.
Yeah.
He more than once he found her, crying and
Yeah.
Cheered her up. It's hard on the wife.
Yeah. How long were those deployments, Coach?
A year and then almost a year.
Yeah.
So 2 years.
Yeah. That's got to be tough on you and them but
We're doing interesting stuff. I mean, playing with millions of dollars of equipment, flying in helicopters and all kinds of cool stuff. But
yeah.
you're busy every day, and
Yeah.
you get your mind's on the mission. But back home, it's a little different.
This is just a personal question because I've always wondered this. Towards the end of that, do you know when you go, like, this is the day I'm supposed to come home?
Yes.
Towards the end of, like, as that date approaches, is there like an anxiety of, like, this is just a person, this doesn't have anything to do, but is there like an anxiety building up to that day of, because I know that when I'm at camp for only a week, that last day I'm super excited to get home, but I've been with these kids for a week and watching them grow in their faith, and you kind of like have this bonding thing, and then going home, you really want to go home because you really want to sleep in your own bed, you really want to see your wife and kids, you really want to get back into normal, but there's like that anxiety of leaving. Is that even worse when you're over there?
You realize that, because you've been doing this for a long time, and I go to school, you get to know these people, and so
Yeah.
by the time this is coming, I worked with some really good guys.
Yeah.
Colonel Drager and doggone, I got pictures up there of some guys I worked with, and they, you regret, we'll stay in touch, but it ain't gonna be like how tight you guys were over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I haven't stayed in touch with Colonel Drager.
Yeah.
Coach Wybera went to BYU
Yeah.
to watch OU play.
Yeah.
And I knew Coach Colonel Drager is a professor at BYU, so I texted him and I asked Coach Wybera where he was sitting, what seats, and he's like, Colonel Drager was at the game. I had him go over and talk to him, and they sent me a picture. So it's just neat having connections like that around the world. But we have stayed in touch because he's a good dude.
Yeah.
A lot of officers, but he's a good dude.
Yeah. I see up there on one of your plaques, the Proverbs 27:17. It's iron sharpens iron, so man sharpen the. That is.
Yeah, that's Colonel Drager. We were really tight. Chief Geiger, myself, and Colonel Drager, and he gave that to me and as a going away present. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. That's why actually it's one of my favorite scriptures.
I was gonna say
27:17.
If I put a face to a scripture, Proverbs 27:17 would be Randy Growall, because iron sharpens iron is right in your wheelhouse. I mean, that would be you. Matter of fact, I think I wore an FCA shirt that had that on there once, and you told me that was one of your favorite scriptures.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And here's from my first deployment, and they put a verse on there. With upright heart, he shepherded them through and guided them with his skillful hand. I guess they're talking about me.
I love it.
That were in my truck. So.
I love it. I will. Is it okay if I put those on the podcast?
Sure,
those pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing secretive
All
right
right.
there.
I'll put those on there so everybody can see them. That's really cool. That is awesome. So, you. How long were you in the military, Coach? 86?
35 years.
35 years.
I got out retired 2018.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
that was right when I came on.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
right at the end of that. You had just retired, and you were still working at the refinery as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. I worked at the refinery from 90 to almost 29 years.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of Davis Wolves, Sulphur Bulldogs. And
yeah. We've had, I'll say something and you'll be like, we've got mutual friends that we didn't even know we had. Most importantly.
Lee Henley and Dudley and
yeah, Chad Womack.
Womack,
yeah.
That sucker can eat.
I think you could probably say that about all three of those guys we mentioned.
We did a lot of eating at the refinery.
Yeah, yeah.
They missed me being gone because I was one of the best, or they said I was one of the best cooks.
So we retired from the military. Retired from the refinery.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just in the retirement business.
doesn't seem like it.
You're way too young to be retired from all these things. When you retired from the military, was that just kind of like okay, I've done this long, it's time to retire, or was it just
Well, they're going to force me to retire at 62, and at 60 I'd had to put a letter in. A warrant officer can go to 62. I think everybody else has to retire at 60.
Yeah.
But they want to keep us around because supposedly we have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
But
explain to me the definition of the warrant officer.
well, you have your NCO Corps. That's your private up to sergeant major. And
Yes,
you have
sir.
your officers, which is second lieutenant up to general. In between there is a warrant officer corps, and that's a group of people who've been NCOs, and so they've acquired some knowledge in a certain field, and they send them to warrant officer candidate school in Fort Rucker, Alabama, and they are subject matter experts in these fields.
Okay.
And you use them. The Army uses them in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
And they're a guide to officers. All right. Even though an officer outranks a warrant officer, we're usually 20 years older than they are, and if they're smart, they use you as a tool.
Yeah.
And don't tick you off. There's three dangerous things there's three very dangerous situations in the Army when a private says, "I learned this in basic," something bad's fixing to happen. And when a second lieutenant says, "It's been my experience," or when a warrant officer starts chuckling and says, "Watch this crap,"
Because he's seen it.
something bad's fixing to happen.
So that military experience, all those 35 years, how has that influenced your coaching style? I mean, I know, but
Pay attention to detail, train them hard. I mean, I remember my dad when he found out I was going to be a drill sergeant because he'd been in Korea, he'd been in war, and he said, "Train them hard." He said, "Don't take it easy on them." And I think that's the mentality you gotta take. They want to be trained hard.
Yeah,
they
lean into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
they
even the
seek
kids here that you don't expect to lean into it, they lean into it. Mm-hmm. Now, some of them buck and they just go, and that's fine. But a lot of them, you can tell they really lean into that.
Right. I was going to say, what Herman Boone, remember the Titans, you're crippling them. How come you always pulling these kids aside? And I think that's kind of, I actually met them, by the way.
Really?
Herman Boone and
the real ones.
The real ones.
Yes, sir.
When I came back from Iraq the first time, I got to go to the Army All-American game.
Yeah.
And Jamil Owens was the representative from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, I was tied with him and his coach, Matt Hennessy, for that event. It was, they fed us, treated us right. Gail Sayers was there, and then Herman Boone and Bill Yost and all kinds of speakers and events, rodeos and barbecues. It's kind of like the Pro Bowl for
high school kids.
For high school kids.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, who's the left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys? Smith.
Yeah.
He's 17 years old, 6'5", 270 pounds, and I sat there had no idea he was going to be who he was. Nice kid, big old kid, didn't say much, ate a lot.
Yeah,
so I got to go to that event. Fran got to go. They put us up in one of the nicest hotels. So
that's nice.
It was a really good deal.
And you got to go. You went to the Army-Navy game.
Now Rocky Intencio is a great heart.
Yeah.
I mean,
He does. He does.
Done stuff behind the scenes that nobody
and
knows
never talks about it.
And you don't. I mean, he's been blessed. He knows he takes care of kids and writes checks. And people don't know all the crap that Rocky Intencio has done for kids.
Yeah.
And anyway, he knew he was in the Navy, which can't help him for that. But he took me to the Army-Navy game 2 years ago in New York. And actually, it was played over in where the Giants played, New Jersey,
Meadowlands. Yeah.
But we had a great time. It was good.
We had a great time discussing you two on vacation together in the coach's office
while we were gone.
While y'all were gone, we were like, I said, right now, somewhere Rocky is having the time of his life, and Coach Growall is just.
We walked everywhere in New York City. He'd been there bunch of times. I'd been there just with the military, but never got to go down in the city like this.
Yeah.
So it was great.
My legs are twice as long as Rocky's legs, and he walks faster than I do. Like he has got a motor.
He knew where all because he was stationed there for a while.
He was there when he was in the Navy.
He knew a lot of the different places to eat. We had Keelan and Good night. I forgot his name.
Yeah, had a couple with you.
Two little kids. Dadgummit. I mean, I know him. I holler at him every day. Anyway, cut this part out.
Yeah, get one of those drawing them blanks. It happens.
But they had those two little kids with us, so we were corralling them. And it was really cool.
That's awesome. So, when you started coaching here, you'd been officiating. Coach Eddie Paul brings you in. What were you doing when you started coaching? Were you just kind of helping out, like just special teams? Seventh grade.
Right. And
okay.
Over the years, of course, I've worked for every head coach since
99.
99. So Chad Davis and Jeremy Dombeck, Coach Cole, and then Coach Barris, Coach Price. Have I left anybody out? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But, I think that's the order.
But I've coached everything except quarterbacks. If you got me coaching O-line, I coach O-line. I've coached linebacker, played tight end, wide receiver, coached wide receivers and safeties. But I actually played quarterback, but all I did was we ran option. So kind of like David, we ran the wishbone.
Let's go.
And we didn't throw it.
Let's go. The best offense ever invented. I'm still sold on that. I watch if anybody in college or any town is running wishbone, hey, I'm locked in. I love it. It's the best offense ever, Coach.
I played quarterback at the military school I went to. I got sent to military school when I was a junior, Fork Union Military Academy. Yeah. And all I did was hand the ball off there. Yeah. But growing up, played option quarterback. So
yeah. That's phenomenal.
School, my best friend, he was a quarterback. I was a receiver. So.
Yeah. That was me, too. Zach was the quarterback. I was a receiver. And when he threw it, you go catch it, or they'll put a running back out there that would. So you better figure out how to find a way to catch it. So you've coached everything through here. You've coached with a few different coaches. Does that military experience help you? Like, and this is almost like an ad for guys that are kind of, I don't know if I should do this, I don't know if I should do that. Military's an option. Did that all your military experience, I mean, that's had to have helped you adapt at the refinery and the coaching world under different bosses and being different people's bosses?
I think so. You transition, you work with different people. I mean, nice thing about the Army is you can get a group of 40 guys together. They all know their jobs. Yeah. And everybody else knows what their job is. So you're putting round pegs in round holes, and they can even though we haven't known each other very long. Yeah. We can form a unit and roll and be efficient in no time because everybody knows their job. Yeah. I think it's easy to transition from one job, one coach to another. Yeah. You got to adjust. The way you do things to different coaches. Yeah. But it's had to have helped. I
oh
guess.
Yeah, I would imagine. I've always thought about that of, like, the military being a great option that sometimes we leave out nowadays. You know, we talk about college and we're more and more we're talking about trades and and we could still mention the military in there because that's a great avenue.
Yes, I think
for young men and women.
It wouldn't hurt if they all did it. At least went for like I think a lot of the other countries in the world. Yeah, they require 2 years military training, and then you're in reserve status. Just like the people in Israel right now, they drew up a lot of their reserves. So.
Yeah, I think along those lines, I think we should make every basketball player that's ever flexed or step over someone wrestle for a month. And then they go, well, the flex, that's kind of maybe I shouldn't do that as much. Maybe the step over thing.
I don't like.
I can't stand it.
I can't.
How many times have you heard me talk to the football team about stepping over people and, all the stuff
the
garbage.
Seat,
all that mess.
I just like to sit them on the bench and
Yeah, I know. Every kid in Southern
then
Oklahoma
their
that's
mommy wants to come up here and gripe and complain. But Coach Price have to deal with that. But I can't stand it. It's not. Hey, and when they're doing that, it's all about me.
Yeah.
If you want to celebrate, go celebrate in the huddle with.
Yep.
Have a mosh pit if you're celebrating with your buddies.
Yeah.
But all that look at me crap.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. That's not.
That's why we're kindred spirits, Coach. Because every kid in Southern Oklahoma that's ever had me talk to their football team is like, that guy hates celebrations. No, I was the worst. So.
You were.
Oh, I was terrible, Coach. I was, and I didn't even do anything good. I was a wide receiver at Davis. Like, but when I did when I did get the chance to act like a fool, I acted like a fool most of the time. So that's why I think it makes me so mad, because I'm like, listen, I've been there, I've done that. Don't be me. Like,
I don't think nobody ever did anything like that for the Ashton Tomcats.
Yeah, it was bad news.
Herb Conley, he gave me a lick. Well, he gave me several licks because he was the principal. And he had hip and back surgery done years ago when they put a commercial on. He was down there at King's Daughters talking about hip. My neighbors, all kinds of people comment, hope you get well, Coach. And I put in there, if I ever have hip and back surgery, it's probably because of the licks that Coach Conley gave me when I was he could wear you out.
He can light you up, man.
Oh, it was. He'd ask you want another one? And you're like trying to not cry.
Yeah.
You didn't want, no, sir.
I got a lick from Coach Capella once, and it was your buddy Lee Henley's fault, 100%. I know Lee's going to watch this because he watches them. It was 100% his and Richie McKee's fault. I was just an innocent sophomore, freshman bystander. I think I was a sophomore. I was just innocent. I got caught up in the wrong crowd. Lee Henley and Richie McKee. Send me down there, and Lee goes in first, and it's, Coach, it popped. It like almost like the crack of a rifle, like that's kind of off a little bit. That's, oh gosh. And Lee come out, he's already red-faced, but he come out even more red-faced, and he's just walking. And then Jeff Jennings goes in next. And I was like, oh, and these guys are considerably larger than sophomore me. And I'm like, oh boy, And I go in there, and Coach Capella, put your hands on the arms of that chair, and you can see his reflection in the picture of the 1995 state championship football team. And he says, don't flinch. And he goes, and like stopped, And I mean, I wilted. He said, I told you don't flinch. I was like, I can't, I'm looking at you in the reflection. And the counselor's in there, and I can see her. She's over there she's trying not to laugh, Well, he hit me, but I mean, it was not like he hit those other two. And he goes, figure out who you're hanging out with.
Mark Now, we bring community speakers into my class. And
yeah.
Mark Now came in, and it's that old adage, birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, you show me your 5,
yeah,
and I'll show you where you're going.
Yeah.
The kids are, he said, you show me the 5 people you hang out with, and I'll pretty much predict your future.
Yeah. You
hang out with 5 people who are doing things right,
Yeah.
More
That's
likely,
great advice.
And it's true.
It's very true. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. I tell kids along the same lines as what Mark says. It's like, you lie down with the dogs, you're going to get up the fleas. You can't help it. It's just going to happen, So we preach that same, me and Mark are preaching that same message right there, because that is so true. So let's talk about, you are FCA leader here at Plainview, and you do a great job every Wednesday night. We got speakers, we got kids, and you do a great job of having the kids lead the ministry. You're the facilitator, but you do a great job of your kiddos are really involved.
We've had a lot of, this year we had more kids talk than we bring people in. I mean, you spoke, and we've had all kinds.
We had Dawson Muck come in and speak.
Right.
When that was a great one.
I could show you the list, but oh man, the other day, Montana Miller, she's our trainer, and she spoke to the FCA, and she's a sharp, she's been in my class, Top Gun Award winner, and when it was over, was at the Tillison's house, and so me, Coach Naylor, and Mr. and Mrs. Tillison and myself were there. all the kids have gone, and Clint said, "Did she go to Plainview?" And we're like, "What do you mean?" He said, "The young lady that spoke, did she go to Plainview? Did she graduate from Plainview?" We're like, "She's a junior." He said, "You're a kid," but
That's awesome.
I mean, and Hattie Nance has spoke, and Braden French, and there's other kids that are, and I want them to speak.
I do too.
I mean,
yeah, that's
I
phenomenal.
think
The
they
peer
gotta
on peer.
prepare, and I think once you stand up in front of your peers and say, "This is what I believe in," you should do. Well, it's gonna be awful hard for you to go.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
There's some accountability in that.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how has your faith influenced all your decisions throughout your life? If you're like me, it didn't affect it much until later in the years. I always knew right and wrong, but I towed the line. Really,
I mean,
really
along
close.
that lines, but growing up, we were at church, whenever the doors were open,
Yeah.
and then went to Old Roberts, and then luckily I married the young lady I did. All right,
Yes, sir.
My little lamb, Fran.
Yeah.
Got a picture of her. Well, I better get a picture of her. Here it is.
Yeah, there she is.
That's I don't know if the camera's even.
I'll put it up there for you.
But
Yeah, I'll put your family picture
she,
up there.
But you just want to give them faith. A lot of people think Christians are wimpy, and not that I'm. Just want them to know, hey, you can be an athlete, you can do things right.
Yeah.
I just want them to be good citizens, and and ultimately want them to, be on that roll call when they go up yonder. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're only going to be here for just a very short
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
And
It's the blink of an eye in eternity's
right,
viewpoint.
it's just a dot.
Yeah.
So, if another Proverbs, if you train up a child in the way they should go, when they get older, they will, stay in these ways.
Yeah.
But so that, I don't know. Back to your question, how's what?
Yeah, just how'd you come to know? And then you kind of answered that the doors were open, y'all were there. But how's that affected, your whole life choices? Just your faith as you've gone through life, military, and then coaching, and how you coach and how you do those things. How's your faith influenced that?
I don't. I think people have a bad. People don't like religion.
Yeah.
And neither, Jesus didn't either.
Yeah, that's right.
So you don't want to be stuck up or uppity or nothing, but I think there's certain things that are expected of you. Like, there's no kid that's ever going to see me drinking at Chili's or,
Yeah.
there's, you want to toe the line, give them an example, give them something to look forward, or, that they should hopefully aspire to be like, or,
Yeah.
and then point it out to them, the way they should be living. But you don't want to come at it from
Yeah. Beat them over the head with the
Right.
Bible. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's you lead by example.
right.
And you lead from your faith. Where you're going. Your role. Your name's on the roll.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to coach and to lead.
Sometimes your best ability is availability, and they know you're going to be there.
That is good stuff.
And-
What was that, Coach? Your best.
It's not your best ability is availability.
Yeah.
So just being there. All
Yeah.
right? It's like being a good listener. That you don't fix their problems. Just some people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
I think that's husband and wife. Sometimes she just wants to be heard.
Yeah.
You don't need to go fix it. Matter of fact, if you go try and fix it, you're probably going to screw it up. So just
Just hear her out.
just listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Your best ability is availability. Boy, that'll preach right there, Coach. Yeah. So tell me about the class you teach here in Plainview.
We teach it's called Character Development and Leadership.
Yeah.
And I got a great curriculum from a guy in Michigan now. It's not stamped like this is religious material. but
Yeah.
I know him. It's Dr. Joseph Hodel. He is a Christian, and even it's good biblical principles, even though it's not stamp John
Yeah, there's
3:16.
we're not quoting scripture the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit in there.
Yeah.
But it's the character development. So you're talking about positive attitude and courage and discipline and all these different character traits, each unit. And then I've brought in a lot of stuff I've learned throughout the military, all right, that we, incorporate. And the kids like it. Matter of fact, at the end of the year, they have a writing assignment. Do you think this class is beneficial?
Yeah.
Well, the first year I did this, I was like, man, what am I going to get?
Yeah.
And it was really positive. And I think this is my 5th year, so I've done this for 4 years. I've had one kid say, I got nothing out of this class. I'd never take it again.
Okay.
She still hugs my neck in the hall, and she might have had a bad day. I don't know. But all the others said, bro.
I'm kind of surprised you said she, because I was just thinking of some knucklehead boy like this thing.
No, it was a young lady, and I think she got something out of the class.
Yeah.
But she's a nice girl. But
Yeah.
anyway, bless her heart.
Yeah. Well, when you started talking about teaching this class, I thought I'd like to go take that class. I could probably benefit from that class.
I should have. That's what I tell. Hey, these kids are a lot smarter than I am. We have some kids here.
Yeah.
I mean, Montana Miller, all those.
Well, you mentioned the Top Gun Award.
Each year I pick a boy and a girl, and
Yeah.
it's just like Top Gun in the movie, and it's
Yeah.
the top 2 students, and it's really not just grade point average, it's class participation and their leadership qualities, because I make them get up in front of the class and speak a lot.
Yeah.
And different ways. I mean, there's a music history officer. Each kid in there has a job, and it has an assistant. So they're having to learn to manage their, job. Like the music history officer, I've got some good songs because the music they listen to is crap.
Terrible. Yeah.
And I have them. They have to research this song and get up, show some slides, and do a presentation.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, I mean,
I want to be here for that one next time.
There's all kinds of good songs.
Yes.
But so they get up and present, and some of them are amazing.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
I want to be here for that presentation on the music slide day this year.
It only takes a couple minutes, and it's something fun.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Gets them up in front of, and what's the number one fear? Fear of public speaking.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
of these kids. There's a girl in 6th hour. I couldn't even get her to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
The first week. The other day she did a music presentation.
That's awesome.
Wasn't the greatest in the world, but
it was good. And she
good.
was up there speaking, and
right.
that's phenomenal.
So,
yeah.
They made this, I mean, the first year I had seniors, juniors, all the way down to freshmen. And ever since then, they've made this mandatory. All freshmen have to take this class.
That's great.
So,
yeah. That's what my wife is that way. She could not, she will get so nervous. I mean, speaking. She's getting better because she's had to do it more, but she is a nervous wreck. And I'll be going to do something, somewhere with a bunch of people, and I'm either going to be singing or talking or whatever. And she's like, "Are you nervous?" I go, "I'm a lot of things, but nervous ain't one of them." I don't like it's. They're gonna get what they're gonna get. I ain't too worried about it.
I wouldn't have been able to. I'm a totally different person I am now than when I was in 9th grade. I'd been one of those kids not wanting to get up there. So.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate what you do. I really, really appreciate what you do in the classroom, in the coach's office. Your influence to me is way more than just the kids, because I see how everybody looks to you. I know, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, when you walk in the front door of the coach's office, what I call the front door of the coach's office in Plainview, Coach Growall's desk is in what I call the back corner. And so everybody, when something's going on, everybody looks at the back corner to see what Coach Growall's reaction of it is. And those young coaches that's come through that either are still there or just maybe got a year with you, like Coach Tweedy and those guys that aren't in that room with us anymore. But I know that your influence on those coaches is way more than you'll give yourself credit for or you believe. But I just see your influence on the coaches as much as the kids, and it's amazing, and I'm so appreciative of it. I'm so glad to have an ally like you in FCA, because you're FCA to us, and so we're so thankful and appreciative. And then on top of that, I'm so thankful for your service to our country.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a sacrifice that people like us that don't go serve, I think we often overlook it, and I just want everybody to know we're so thankful to you for that sacrifice. Those years you gave up with your kids and your wife, being overseas and protecting our country, and all those years that even when you're not overseas but you're gone for a month in the summer at training and all those things, we just really appreciate it. And I know that makes you uncomfortable for us, so thank you, but you deserve it. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we're thankful for Fran too for keeping you in line, and
She brought me to Oklahoma.
yeah, we're thankful for that Fran went to Tulsa for a few years to gather you up and keep you here. So
I did have let's see. I got a little sticker on I can't operate my dang phone.
this is also a main source of entertainment in the coach's office. Is Coach Growall trying to operate his phone?
Dadgummit. I got a good little saying on a little sticky note over there.
We Coach Growall runs the Hit Stick video, and that's how I know he's a good music guy, because the songs that come up on the Hit Stick videos, I always look over to Coach Price and we're just like, yeah, that's a good one right there.
It's Molly Hatchet on there.
Yes.
These kids don't know what Molly and but they like it.
Yeah,
you know?
it fits to football.
They like Foreigner, Head Knocker.
Yeah.
And some people have never even heard that song.
Yeah.
But, you know.
We got a little In the Air Tonight this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just I really felt for all the years of growing up, I thought Davis was the only one that had ever heard that song. I thought we were the only ones that played in our locker room. Evidently we're not. But, sometimes we think we are the center of the universe in Davis, so it happens.
Yeah.
But
I got this little.
Did you find
just
it?
a reminder, got a little sticky note over on the wall over.
Yeah.
And God has given you as a Christian coach a platform to model integrity before young people who desperately need to see what it looks like. So
Absolutely.
I think that's what we need to be doing, for this nation, not just this football program.
Yeah.
For this nation, because they're going to go on and do other things. And I've got kids, been doing this for a while, gone out and branched out, and they love to come back and connect with you. And,
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've got one question I ask a lot of almost every podcast, and I think you just answered it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. How do you want to be remembered as a coach?
Oh, somebody they could trust, I guess. I mean, somebody was hard, because that doesn't mean you're mean or unfair, but hard. Hold them to a standard.
Yeah.
Because true leadership is all about trust. And I know this for a fact. They call them books or whatever you want, but if they don't trust you, they're not truly going to buy into you and follow you.
Yeah.
Charge that hill, knock out that machine gun nest. If he don't trust you, piss on you.
Yeah.
You know, but the number one element in the leader-follower equation is trust. So I hope that they know I had their best interest at heart, even if I'm making them run till they throw up. I have their best interest at heart. It's going to make them a better husband, better father, better American. So
Absolutely.
I guess that's what I don't know.
I love it. That's great. That's a great way to end it. So thank you so much.
Hey, I'm glad.
I appreciate you.
You got to now go edit the crap out of this thing. Well, Brad, they'd never believe that. Kids I grew up with, they wouldn't believe that I was actually teaching, let alone if you told them I was teacher of the year, Marion Williams or David Bush, Robin Blankenship, John Anderson, or Kevin Gothard. You told them that, they'd probably call you a liar.
Well, I tell y'all, just a great dude. So much fun to get to work with Coach Growall all the time and get to be around Plainview and do and be there and walk the walk with those guys. Hey, Coach Growall, thank you so much for being on. Fran, thank you so much for giving us Coach Growall on a Saturday morning. We jumped up there. That's how busy he is. We had to do it on a Saturday morning. So thank you so much, Coach. You guys don't forget I work for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we're a fundraise ministry. Everything we do is raised by supporters. So if you would like to be on my team and support the ministry of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, down below, I'm gonna put my link in there. Just click on it, drop in, be an automatic monthly partner or a one-time gift giver. Anything you give will bless me and my ministry, and so I would just appreciate it so much. Don't forget my MW Outdoor Power and Engine Works in Bromide Mountain, right downtown Sulphur. Hey, come check out the area. We got all kinds of great stuff. Jump over there to the table and eat with Haley. It's just a great little area, so come check us out. Hey, you guys, this is an awesome thing that you're still watching. I sure appreciate it. And so just remember, until we see you again, make it a great day. We love you. God loves you. Have a good one.